Or how do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
I haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14 to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Mayweather has once again shaken the boxing world, this time by calling out Jake Paul after Gervonta Tank Davis's fight was canceled due to Tank's ongoing legal troubles. Mayweather made it clear he's ready to step in and face Jake, saying this wouldn't be another exhibition but a real fight. He emphasized he wouldn't move up in weight either, confirming that if the match happens, it would be under official professional rules. The unexpected call-out has stirred major excitement among fans, with many wondering whether Floyd is truly preparing for an official comeback to the ring.
But at the time, people badly wanted you and Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money. And
because of the lawsuit and the ongoing investigation, Gervonta Davis's much-anticipated exhibition fight against Jake Paul has been canceled. His promoter, Most Valuable Promotions, released a statement confirming they are investigating the matter further and have decided not to continue with the event under these current circumstances.
Situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I'm giving my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring magazine that December 12th and the 19th.
Davis is now the subject of a civil lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend, Courtney Russell, over an alleged incident that occurred on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she works. Russell's filing accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The complaint claims Davis dragged and assaulted her through multiple areas of the club, including the stairwell, kitchen, and parking garage. Law enforcement in Miami Gardens has confirmed there is an active investigation running alongside the civil case.
Boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul.
Chael Sonnen recently weighed in on the controversy surrounding the reported cancellation of the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight, saying he personally reached out to both camps to get the truth. According to Sonnen, he contacted representatives from Jake's team and Tank's side to confirm the rumors, but neither party gave him a straight answer. Their silence, he explained, only fueled the suspicion that something serious was happening behind the scenes. Sonnen suggested that when both fighters refuse to deny a cancellation, it usually means there's more to the story, hinting that this situation might involve deeper legal and promotional complications, not just scheduling issues.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in.
With Tank's fight now in jeopardy, Floyd Mayweather has stepped forward and called out Jake Paul directly. Floyd has been outspoken about Jake's boxing abilities. He acknowledges Jake's success in the crossover scene and admits he's entertaining, but stops short of calling him a real boxer. Mayweather described a potential fight with Paul as too easy, suggesting he doesn't see Jake as a serious challenge. He's also made it clear that while Paul has built a profitable niche, stepping into the ring with a world-class fighter would reveal the huge gap in his training, technique, and experience.
Many people believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents, or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, where his mind.
Mayweather's refusal to grant rematches throughout his career left many fans feeling there were unresolved what-ifs. On the other hand, Jake has often fought opponents who were much older, past their prime, or significantly smaller. Mayweather himself has cautioned that Jake Paul's choice of opponents inflates his image, even while acknowledging Jake's entertainment value. He warned that once Jake faces a real fighter, the truth will come out, and it won't be pretty.
Question is just with like Logan Paul and then Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer, what do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching.
Meanwhile, several fighters and analysts continue to praise Floyd Mayweather, not just for his speed and defense, but for his mindset. They argue that what truly made Floyd unstoppable was his unshakable confidence, the belief that he could beat anyone. For example, former boxer Tony Jeffries pointed out that Mayweather's mental edge allowed him to control fights before they even began, giving him a psychological advantage few could match.
Themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work harder. If you think about losing, you're going to lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of shit. And
recent reports suggest that Mayweather is now pursuing a fight with Mike Tyson. And analysts believe this move is about more than just money. They interpret it as Floyd's way of proving he still dominates the headlines, even in retirement. With all eyes initially on the Davis versus Paul matchup, Mayweather appears unwilling to let anyone, not even his protege, outshine him. Observers describe this as classic Floyd, a man who thrives on attention, competition, and legacy. While Gervonta and Jake continue to generate buzz for their own event, Floyd's rumored fight with Tyson hints at a bigger story: the constant struggle among boxing legends to stay relevant in a rapidly changing sport.
So many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about whether...
According to multiple reports, Jake Paul's promotional team is reaching out to several high-profile fighters as potential replacements for Davis, whose fight is now in doubt because of the ongoing legal issues. There are strong rumors that Jake's camp has contacted none other than Terrence Crawford as a possible replacement opponent. Although nothing has been confirmed publicly, the idea of Crawford stepping in has created massive excitement. His elite reputation would instantly raise the stakes and credibility of any fight. However, Crawford hasn't signed or agreed to anything yet. The discussions are still in the early, speculative stages. Even so, the buzz alone has fans talking, wondering if Jake's team is suddenly aiming for a more legitimate, high-level opponent.
Scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good looking kid, great fighter, fast hands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia would go in against Jake Paul. But to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else we got? Terence Crawford. I can't see Terence Crawford entertained in this, but then you never know, do you? If the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terence Crawford's getting on now, what is he, 37, 38 years old, had a great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him, he's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua, that never happened, did it? It's a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight, he's already fought him, it was a rubbish.
Many critics had already voiced opposition to the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup. Fellow fighter Carl Froch was especially vocal, calling the proposed bout rubbish. Froch argued that the fight lacks true competitive value, pointing to Jake's limited boxing background compared to Davis's proven skill and experience. He dismissed Jake as more of a spectacle boxer than a serious contender, and said the fight shouldn't be treated as a genuine clash between two elite professionals. For Froch, the issue isn't who would win, it's whether the fight itself should even happen.
Absolute clown world. Really fitting for fake Paul, the clown, because it's a clown show. You're putting him in with somebody who's 100 pounds lighter. I mentioned the weight disparity before. Getting on for 7 stone. It's a weight-governed sport. It should not be happening. He's too small, Gervonta Davis, against the big Jake Paul, who's in the gym a lot, training. Apparently he's fit and strong and he has a go and he can fight a little bit, which I disagree with because I don't think he can. He might be able to fight a little bit. He certainly can't box. But these allegations against Gervonta Davis, they're very serious allegations. Anybody that's laying hands on women needs to be shut down straight away. They need to be, for me, they need to be locked up.
Former world champion Amir Khan also called the matchup a terrible mismatch. Khan blasted the promoters, comparing the pairing to torture, and said it's unfair to put Davis in that situation. With Jake Paul reportedly weighing over 200 pounds, while Davis has never fought above around 140 pounds, Khan said the fight was dangerous and exploitative. He even questioned whether Davis simply wants to cash out and retire rather than continue fighting seriously.
He gets on my nerves a little bit. I think the way he looks himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well. And he thinks he can fight. And he's only been boxing for what, like a year. But he's been very lucky though. He has he's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on just.
Some critics are now questioning why the fight was canceled at all. They argue that Tank is still physically fit and could have competed despite the ongoing legal case. Several athletes, they note, have fought while facing active charges. These critics suggest the decision was driven more by public relations and corporate image than genuine concern for the fighters. Many fans believe that if Tank wanted to fight, the promoters should have let it happen, especially considering the massive hype and financial buildup surrounding the event. Others, however, point out that with the seriousness of the allegations, moving forward could have sparked a huge public backlash against everyone involved.
So, did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul, his team, and Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comments section. We'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you.
So what do you think? Should Floyd Mayweather step in and fight Jake Paul now? Or should the promoters wait until Gervonta Tank Davis resolves his legal situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below.